Hello, everyone! Have you ever wondered why doctors ask about your blood group before a transfusion? Why can't we just use anyone's blood? Today, we're going to dive deep into the fascinating science of blood groups and discover how they form in our bodies. This is a story that combines genetics, evolution, and life-saving medicine. What are blood blood? Groups are classifications of blood based on the presence or absence of specific molecules on the surface of red blood cells. Think of these molecules as identification tags or markers that tell our immune system, this blood belongs here. These markers are called antigens, and they are primarily proteins or sugars attached to the membrane of red blood cells. The most important blood group system is the ABO system, discovered by Karl Landsteiner in 1901, for which he received the Nobel Prize. This system classifies blood into four main types: A, B, AB, and O. Additionally, there's the RH system, which adds another layer by being either positive or negative, giving us 8 common blood types: A+, A, B+, B, AB+, AB, O+, and O. The genetic foundation, how blood groups are inherited. Blood groups are determined by genes inherited from our parents. The ABO blood group system is controlled by a single gene located on chromosome 9. This gene comes in 3 different versions, called alleles A, B, and O. Here's how it works. You receive one allele from your mother and one from your father. The A and B alleles are codominant, meaning both express themselves if present together. The O allele is recessive, meaning it only expresses itself when paired with another O allele. Let's break down the combinations. If you inherit an A allele from one parent and an A from the other, AA, or an A from one and an O from the other, AO, you'll have blood group A. Similarly, BB or BO gives you blood group B. If you inherit both A and B alleles, AB, you'll have AB blood group because both are expressed. Finally, if you inherit O from both parents, OO, you'll have blood group O. This is why 2 parents with blood group A could have a child with blood group O. If both parents are AO, there's a 25% chance their child will inherit O from both and have blood group. O, the molecular level. What makes each blood group different? Now, let's understand what's actually different at the molecular level. All blood groups start with a basic sugar structure on the red blood cell surface called the H antigen. Think of this as a foundation or building block. For blood group A, an enzyme adds a specific sugar molecule called N-acetylgalactosamine to this H antigen. For blood group B, a different enzyme adds a different sugar called galactose. For blood group AB, both enzymes are present, so both sugars get added to different H antigens on the cell surface. For blood group O, the enzyme is non-functional due to a genetic mutation, so the H antigen remains unchanged with nothing added to it. These tiny molecular differences are what make blood groups incompatible. Your immune system produces antibodies against the antigens you don't have. So, if you have blood group A, your body naturally produces anti-B antibodies. If you have blood group B, you produce anti-A antibodies. Blood group O individuals produce both anti-A and anti-B antibodies, while AB individuals produce neither. The Rh factor. Another layer of complexity. The Rh system is the second most important blood group system. It's named after the rhesus monkey, where it was first discovered. The most significant antigen in this system is the D antigen. If you have the D antigen on your red blood cells, you're Rh positive. If you don't have it, you're Rh negative. The Rh factor is also inherited genetically, controlled by genes on chromosome 1. The positive trait is dominant over the negative trait. This means you only need one positive allele from either parent to be Rh positive. To be Rh negative, you must inherit 2 negative alleles, one from each parent. The Rh factor is particularly important during pregnancy. If an Rh negative mother carries an Rh positive baby, inherited from the father, her immune system might recognize the baby's Rh positive blood cells as foreign and produce antibodies against them. This condition, called Rh incompatibility, can be dangerous for future pregnancies, but is preventable with modern medicine through Rh immunoglobulin injections. Why blood transfusion compatibility matters? Understanding. Blood groups is literally a matter of life and death when it comes to blood transfusions. if you receive blood with antigens your body doesn't recognize, your immune system will attack those red blood cells in a process called hemolysis, which can be fatal. Blood group O negative is called the universal donor because it has no A, B, or D antigens, so it won't trigger an immune response in most recipients. Blood group AB positive is called the universal recipient because these individuals have all three antigens and don't produce antibodies against any of them, so they can receive blood from any type. However, even with compatible ABO and RH types, there are over 300 other blood group systems with various antigens that must be considered for frequent transfusions or special cases. This is why blood banks perform extensive cross-matching tests before transfusions. Development of blood groups in the fetus. The formation of blood groups actually begins very early in fetal development. The ABO antigens start appearing on red blood cells around 6 to 8 weeks of gestation. By the time a baby is born, their blood group is fully established. Though the strength of antigen expression may increase slightly during the first few years of life, interestingly, antibodies against foreign blood groups don't develop immediately. Newborns don't have anti-A or anti-B antibodies at birth. These antibodies develop during the first few months of life through exposure to similar antigens in food, bacteria, and the environment. By around 6 months of age, babies have developed the typical antibody pattern for their blood group. The evolutionary perspective. Why do we have different blood groups? From an evolutionary standpoint, the existence of different blood groups is fascinating. Scientists believe that different blood groups may have provided survival advantages against different diseases throughout human history. For example, blood group O may offer some protection against severe malaria, which could explain why it's so common in regions where malaria has been prevalent. Blood group A may be associated with better resistance to certain infections, while blood group B might have provided advantages in different environmental conditions. The distribution of blood groups varies significantly across different populations worldwide. Blood group B is more common in Asia, while blood group A is more frequent in Europe. Blood group O is widespread globally, but particularly common in indigenous populations of the Americas. These variations reflect human migration patterns and evolutionary adaptations over thousands of years. Beyond ABO and RH, other blood group systems. While ABO and RH are the most clinically significant, there are actually 43 recognized blood group systems containing over 300 different antigens. Some important ones include the Kell system, Duffy system, KID system, and MNS system. These systems become particularly important for patients who need frequent transfusions, such as those with sickle cell disease or thalassemia. Over time, these patients can develop antibodies against multiple antigens, making it increasingly difficult to find compatible blood. This is why blood banks maintain detailed records and why diverse blood donation is so crucial. Medical implications and blood group associations research has revealed interesting associations between blood groups and various health conditions, though most of these associations are relatively weak and shouldn't cause alarm. For instance, people with blood group O have a slightly lower risk of heart disease and blood clots, but may be more susceptible to stomach ulcers caused by H. pylori bacteria. Blood group A has been associated with a slightly higher risk of certain cancers, particularly stomach cancer. Blood group AB is the rarest and has been linked to some cognitive conditions, though research is ongoing. It's important to note that these are statistical associations with multiple factors involved, and having a particular blood group doesn't determine your health destiny. The future synthetic blood and universal blood scientists are working on revolutionary solutions to blood compatibility issues. One promising area is the development of synthetic blood or blood substitutes that can perform oxygen-carrying functions without triggering immune responses. Another exciting development is the enzymatic conversion of blood types, using enzymes to remove A and B antigens from red blood cells, potentially converting any blood type to O, the universal donor type. Researchers are also exploring ways to grow red blood cells from stem cells in the laboratory, which could eventually eliminate shortages and compatibility issues entirely. While these technologies are not yet ready for widespread use, they represent the future of transfusion medicine. Understanding blood groups helps us appreciate the incredible complexity of our bodies and the importance of blood donation. Every blood type is needed because different populations have different blood type frequencies, and patients need blood that matches their specific type. If you're eligible, consider becoming a regular blood donor. Your donation could save up to 3 lives. Rare blood types are particularly needed, as finding matches for patients with uncommon combinations can be challenging. Blood groups are a perfect example of how genetics, evolution, and medicine intersect to create the diversity we see in human populations. From the molecular tags on our red blood cells to the life-saving transfusions in hospitals, blood groups remind us that we're all different, yet fundamentally connected. Thank you for watching. If you found this video educational, please like, share, and subscribe for more science content. Drop your blood group in the comments. Let's see which type is most common among our viewers. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.